Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution Weekend Edition. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully, you're having some fun in the hobby this weekend, maybe going to a card show. I know we've got the Oak Creek Card Show here in Wisconsin today. So if you're heading over to the Milwaukee area for that show, have a good time. I think, or was it Orlando? Orlando said, by the way, Orlando is hosting Hobby Hotline this morning. Hobby Hotline returns. Dr. Beckett and Orlando on today's show at 10 a.m. Central. I think Orlando said after the show he was heading to the Fort Lauderdale card show. So if you're in that area, check that out. My show schedule, I don't have anything until the Madison card show on January 25th. I had a dream last night. I don't know where this dream came from. I had a dream, the Madison card show, and every once in a while I have these dreams of a changed venue, like where I have to move it to a different location. And it's always broken up. It's never like, I never have a dream where I move the Madison card show to like this giant convention center and it's like perfect. It's always like separated. It's like on multiple floors, multiple rooms, in like a janitor's closet. That's what I always have dreams about when I move the Madison card show. So we're gonna keep it the way it is. So I had a dream last night that not only was it in a different location, and of course it was all over the place. I had a dream it was in this. It was in one of those like giant convention centers that also has like a hotel. It reminds me of, and I'm sure nobody listening has been to the old arena in Sioux Falls. They opened up a new one about 10 years ago. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's where we had our Summit League conference tournament for basketball. And basically like a hotel convention center type deal. So my dream, Madison Card Show, was in a hotel convention center. And I had to take a shower. Okay. I had to take a shower and dealers were coming in early. And it was for January. It was for the January show, which is still a few weeks away. And I'm like, yeah, I knew it was going to be like, I knew people would want to get in, but man, I've never had dealers come in this early, which is weird because that would be like 5 a.m, but it was like noon in my dream. So maybe it was a multi-day show. I don't know. I didn't have I didn't have a poster that I could read in my dream. So I had this dream. Dealers were starting to come in early, and I'm like, yeah, I've got to take a shower. And I think I was like really sweaty from like setting the room up. I had to set the room up at this different location. And so one dealer came in. I'm like, man, that guy's like an hour and a half early. I'm like, yeah, go upstairs. You're blah, 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 blah in this area. Your name will be on the table, which is good. That's a good thing. I put names on the table. And then I had to shower, but I had to shower in like this dining room. It was literally like the dining room in the hotel restaurant, but it had like, I could put towels around so people couldn't see me in the shower. So I'm showering in the dining room. That's probably like, you can't do that. Like, I'm sure there's laws against portable shower in a dining room at a restaurant. And then there was like a Facebook group, like Sports Card Nonsense, one of those like Facebook groups. And they were alleging that I was lying about the number of tables at the show and going on and on. And Brian Gray was in my dream. And I remember like there was like a video and he says, I've got to get to the Madison show. And I think that's what sparked, they're like, oh, he makes up all the numbers and all this. So that was my dream. Weird ass dream. It must have been like first thing this morning or right before I woke up, because I remember more of this dream than most dreams. Like usually it's like you wake up and like, I had this weird dream and like this happened, but this is still kind of vivid in my mind. Weird ass dream. But the next Madison card show is January 25th, Saturday, January 25th, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive, 140 dealer tables. You can count them. In my dream, they were saying that was a lie. So come on out, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, January 25th. First quarter dates are announced January 25th, February 22nd, and March 29th are the dates. I did think, and I alluded to this on a previous show, I alluded to the fact that I may have to change things up in May, but upon further review, I don't think that's the case. Now, it still will not be held on Memorial Day weekend because Memorial Day weekend, I have a wedding down in Orlando's neck of the woods, in Boca. And so Memorial Day weekend is out, but I always assume, and you know what assuming does, I always assumed Memorial Day weekend was the last weekend in May. That is not the case in 2025. Memorial Day weekend is the second to last. There's an extra, and I noticed there's a few months in 2025 where we have an extra weekend. May is one of those. So Memorial Day weekend is actually May 24th and 25th. And then Memorial Day Monday is the 26th. So that's the weekend I will be gone. So May 31st is what I'm targeting. So if I do get my date of May 31st for the Madison Card Show, it'd likely also be April 26th. Will continue the last Saturday of each month. But if the venue is spoken for on May 31st, then it bumps up to May 17th. And then I would have to adjust my April schedule, and I'd probably go like April 19th, which is not ideal because that's only, but so hopefully I can get May 31st, but I won't know for another probably month when they allow me to book second quarter dates at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. So right now, first quarter dates are set in stone: January 25th, February 22nd, March 29th, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive for the Madison Card Show. So come check it out. What else is going on? Yesterday, did a lot of shipping yesterday. Did a lot of listing yesterday. Shipping and listing and shipping on Friday. Friday. Today's Saturday. Yes. So I do want to show. So I shipped, but I also listed. So I did a little all of the above listing on Friday. So I listed about 50, I don't even know what, 50 random baseball, a lot of stuff that I picked up at the Madison Card Show last weekend. Walker Jenkins, first Bowman Chrome Mega, Nolan Arenado, Heritage Action, Don Mossy, Vintage, couple first Bowman Chromes, Andrew Painter, first Bowman Sky Blue, 55 Bowmans, Andy Pafko, Ernie Johnson. So those are in the Buy It Now section in my eBay store. So about 50 Buy It Nows were added. I did about 250 auctions, went live last night, and I listed 25 or 30 small player lots, 8 cards, typically $5, depending on the player, $5 to $8. So I listed those yesterday and last night as well. Let's share the screen. Here's some of the stuff. Get your bids in now. These auctions end on Friday in 6 days, 6.5 days. These are the latest auctions added. I pulled a bunch of just baseball, Ozzie Albies rookie, some 80s stuff, Roger Clemens, a Leaf Kirby Puckett, Silver Portrait, Johnny Bench and Ted Williams and Charlie Sheen, through the years, some Stadium Club Chromes, some color, some refractors, purple and blue. Oh my, Adley Rushman rookie, bunch of 81 Fleer, I think. A couple of short prints from Heritage. 82 Donruss. One of these years, I put up some unmarked checklists. Griffey. Maybe it was 82 Fleer. One of the early 80s sets, I had a whole stack. I think it was 82 Fleer. Yeah. Yaz and Reigns and Ainge and Ozzie. So these are all 99 cents. Of course, there is combined shipping. You won't pay any more than $4.25 on these singles, and that ships bubble mailer. I do have the breakdown within the item descriptions in these eBay listings. Even old Rusty Kuntz got an auction going. So these auctions end on Friday night. The Gaylord Perry just lounging in their George Brett early 80s cards. Some Hostess cards, Say, Tom Seaver, Chris Spire, and Jim Barr. So a lot of stuff. About 250 auctions went live, some Bowman prospects. So there you go. Get those bids in now so you don't forget. We do have auctions ending Tuesday night. Where do you get that? Well, links in the description. Also right there, 99centcards.com, scrolling at the bottom of your screen. In the Buy It Now section, buy 7 or more items, not just cards, but items. Can be player lots, can be T-shirts or jerseys or magazines. I added a bunch of old Beckett's to my eBay store this week as well. Check it out, 99centcards.com. In the Buy It Now section, buy 7 or more items, and you'll save 25% off at checkout. 99centcards.com. Tuesday night auctions, we will resume our eBay live auction stream. That's coming up on Tuesday night, about 7 o'clock. We will go live 7 p.m. Central, and we'll count down the auctions on Tuesday night. I also have auctions ending Wednesday night, Thursday night, and those auctions that are ending on Friday. Probably going to be throwing some auctions at the old eBay tonight as well. One thing that I am monitoring, because I'm listing, my goal is to hit 1,000 auctions per week. 1,000. That's a lot of damn auctions. But I only get 500 free auctions a month. So if I'm doing 4,000 in a month, I'm paying 3,500 times 15 cents. I know the math, but I forget. 3,500 times 15 cents. So I'm paying 500. If I get to 1,000 auctions per week, I'm paying $525 per month on auctions. And you're thinking, well, and they're not, a lot of these sell at 99 cents. What are you doing? Here's the catch. You get reimbursed when an item sells. So say 3,000 of the auctions sell, plus my 500 free. So say 500 don't sell. And it's probably going to be more than that. Let's say 1,000 don't sell. 1,000 auctions don't sell. That's $150. But 3,500 did sell, and say they just all sold for 99 cents. That's $3,465 of revenue coming in. $3,500 coming in, $150 going out in fees. That's okay. And what's the math on that? I've been running at about 5% or less. 150 divided by 3,500, that's 4.3%. And that's kind of right around where I've been in November and December. And I do check these. A lot of these numbers, when you're running your eBay business, you can check these numbers. And I used to be more in the middle, and I've talked about this, where you don't want to step on the scale every day, or like 3 times a day. Maybe you can every day is okay. Do it first thing in the morning, but there's going to be some days where you might be 2 pounds heavier. But if you're weighing yourself at all times of the day, then you're going to get frustrated. Same with eBay. And sometimes I do, I'll check my numbers. It's like, God, I haven't made any sales. Yesterday was not a good sales day, especially with my new goals that I have for this year. Fell way short of where I want to be. Now the day before was right where I wanted to be, a little higher than I wanted to be. But in sales, you have to take that roller coaster. You have to take the highs and the lows together. So don't let if yesterday was a shit day for you, don't let it ruin the week. Just say, well, I'll do better tomorrow. But don't let it become a regularity. So I'm going to click on my sales. So go to your sales tab. And all of your numbers come up. You can track it, break it down, whatever. But if you scroll down a little bit, it's the one, how many, there's like little boxes. So you're going to have your reports where you can, last 31 days is probably your default. And then you can drop down and do whatever. So the next box is buyer insights. That's going to tell you your breakdown between your total buyers, how many repeat buyers you have. My repeat buyers surprisingly are down. Like I'm only at 10.5%, where usually it's closer to 20%. But I think some of that has to do with the seasonality of it, and also auctions. Auctions tend to bring in a newer clientele, which is kind of where I want to be. I want to bring in those new clients, new customers, and hopefully turn them into repeat buyers. All right. So, and that's kind of the whole deal about auctions. It's kind of my cold calling on eBay. Sales by category. One below that, you're going to have a bar graph of your total sales, promoted sales, offer sales. Okay, that's not the one we want. We want selling costs. One below that. So selling costs is going to show your breakdown last 31 days, I think. So if you go to breakdown, it's going to show your eBay fees, how much you've spent in fees. And then it's going to show insertion fees. So I've spent $182. And I believe that's last 31 days. So let's just say this month, and it's probably going to say 0 on insertion fees. I don't think I've hit my 500 yet. Selling costs. Okay. So here we're on January. So I haven't spent anything on insertion fees. Now I've received some credits back from auctions I began in December. So it's going to be a little skewed, but as you ramp up and do this month over month, it's not going to matter. Plus we kind of got to look at this at the end of the month, but let's take a look at January this is January, December, last month. All right. So December, 2024, we're going to break down my selling costs. Insertion fees. I paid $182.40 on insertion fees in the month of December, but I had $133.90 returned to me in fee credits. Now, that also that takes into account more than just my insertion fee reimbursements. That's everything. That also takes into account if you had to refund a buyer, it refunds your fees. So any refund, that's going to come off. So I feel maybe $100 of that was from insertion fees. So that means I only spent like $82. Even if I spent the whole $182.40 on insertion fees in the month of December, that was only 5% of my auction sales. So I feel it's a pretty good amount. That's kind of where I wanted to be. In fact, when I started, it's like, as long as I'm under 10%, if I get to be over 10%, because that's basically higher than what I would promote items at, but I'm not promoting auctions. So I feel that those insertion fees can eat up and be basically my promotion fee. So month of December, it was at 5%. Let's see if I can do November and see where I was. 11/1/2024. Of course, I've been ramping up auctions since, when did I start? September, October. So we're going to see what my November selling costs were. I did $154.20 on insertion fees. I had $130 returned. That's the same exact number, I think. I'm gonna have to look into that. And wasn't that that's weird, but it says 4%. Huh. All right, I'm gonna have to keep a closer eye on that. So anyway, check out my auctions, 99centcards.com. Let's go to the chat before we get too far behind. Let's say hello to Mr. Archer. Good morning. Donald Davis in the house. Good morning. Today, I want to talk about Breaking is Bad. Breaking Bad, little use of AI for the thumbnail this morning. There was a tweet that I saw yesterday, and it's just like, it's one of those. So I just want to share my opinion on Breaking. Kyle says, good morning. Outside in the Illinois tundra this morning. It is cold here in the Midwest this morning. Whew. It is cold to the bone. Zach says, this is convenient. I just started my cardiovascular exercises and you started. We are going to the largest show in Wisconsin today. No wet tables, all dry. Well, you don't know that. It hasn't opened yet. There could be some wet tables in there. There very well could be. You never know. Tina's in the house. Good morning. He's headed to Oak Creek today. My first time in months at this show. Yeah, I need to get back there. I can't today. Spring market has sprung, and my wife got home yesterday afternoon, and she had a tour for potential clients, potential buyers, and then she had a couple showings. She's got like 2 listing appointments today and a showing. She's got another listing appointment tomorrow. She's got 3 next week. I'm like, oh my God. So the real estate market booming here as we enter 2025 in Madison. Orlando's here. What's happening? Good morning. Zach says, after the arena, head over to the den for a cold beverage, maybe the Water's Edge. Orlando says, shower, was Ernie pissing on you? Ooh, gosh, I hope it wasn't. It wasn't me. The bed wasn't wet. And Ernie did pee. It's when I take Ernie out in the morning and he doesn't pee, then I'm concerned. Then I'm checking the bed. But he did pee right away. He peed right away. So I think we avoided any. And I don't think Ernie's wet the bed. He did like very early on, like when we first couple weeks we had him. I think he did pee the bed. But he's been really this week. He's been very good. In fact, Ernie's been very good with his potty training this week. He's had a couple accidents in the last week, but far less accidents than previous. But I was doing some sorting in the rec room, which is nice. I can sort cards on the floor, and unless he gets a case of the zoomies, we did have a Manny Machado incident where I had to throw away. I had to throw away Ernie chewed up Manny Machado card because he got the zoomies and grabbed one off the stack. He might have grabbed two off the stack. He had a case of the zoomies, which is okay. We'll allow it. It's my fault for putting shit on the floor with a puppy in the house. So we were downstairs and I was sorting, and all of a sudden he took off and ran upstairs and rang the bell. And I'm like, huh. So I go upstairs, take him out, and he peed. Oh, holy shit. He tends to ring the bell a lot at night. And a couple times this week, we ignore him, and it's fucking cold. We don't want to go outside 7 times in 2 hours. So we ignored him a couple times when he was ringing the bell, he just wants attention, or, he blah, blah, blah. And then he'd shit on the floor. Okay, well. And so last night, my wife's like, it's so cold. He's been out 7 times since 6 o'clock. And I'm like, the last time we did this, he shit on the floor. So I take him out. Guess what he does? He poops outside. Bravo. So it's more about, it's not training Ernie. It's training us. All right. When does he really just want to go outside and sniff? When does he want to go outside and actually take a dump? Zach says showers should be heavily encouraged for anything tied to a card show. In current state, showers are not. That reminds me, there was another tweet. God dang. I don't know who tweeted it out. I think it was just a random account. Somebody tweeted out what annoys you the most. And one thing was smelly people at card shows. Another was not items not priced at a card show. There was 2 others. And basically it's items not priced is my pet peeve of the 4 that were listed. Because smelly people at a card show, I can just walk by. Is it annoying? Yes. Take a shower, put some deodorant on, put a different pair of clothes on that are clean, that don't stink. But generally speaking, I can walk away unless I'm at a really good bargain box and there's somebody smelly next to me. And then it's come on, man. But typically I can walk away from smelly people. Even if I'm at a great dollar box, what you choose in life is full of choices. And sometimes we have to choose between staying at a bargain box, standing next to somebody that's really ripe and stinks, and walking away. That's our choice. We have that choice. What's more important? Getting great cards out of this dollar box or smelling something that's better than BO? I usually choose cards. I don't care. If anything, I can just kind of smell my hand. Hopefully I just washed my hands and I've got some soap. I just took a shower, so I've got good smelling hands right now. So you have that choice. Non-priced cards. I don't have a choice. I do have a choice. I can walk away from that table. But I don't have the choice to price it. I wish I did. Like that $100 card. I want that. It's not priced. I'll give you 20 for it. Okay. It's not priced. You can take it for 20. I can't remember who tweeted this out. It was a poll. If anybody does know in the chat, let me know. Somebody did a poll like, what's the most annoying thing? And I don't even know if it was at a card. It might have been just in the hobby. It might have been at a card show though. Let me do a quick search on Twitter. Annoying most. I'm gonna do most annoying at a card show. Let's see if that brings anything up. Do latest. I just saw this yesterday. Nope, nothing up. Okay, moving on. Good morning, GNC baseball cards in the house. Zach says Ernie's fur corsage unloading on Bo. That's gross. Jody, good morning. Shane's in the house. What's happening? Good morning. No shipping here, just listing today. How about that? Today, for me, I did a lot of listing yesterday, but for me, today is going to be a big shipping day. With holidays, I got a lot of those messages. When's my item shipping? I'm at 226 awaiting shipment right now. So it's going to be a heavy shipping day. Red Light 34 in the house. Good morning. Low Roller Scratcher is here today. He's making money on skill games. What's up, that dude from Duryea? Zach says, my Fisk that got away. It's still up for auction. Still like 5 days left. You could still get it. You could still win it. Cooter's in the house. He says, good morning. Did someone say Ted Williams? Did I say Ted Williams? There might be a Ted Williams auction in my eBay store. If I mentioned Ted Williams, I bet it was auctions that I listed last night. Knackley Collectibles is here. Good morning. Happy to watch another live. Happy to have you. Good morning, Unicorn Cupcake. Knackley Collectibles says, planning on coming to a Madison card show this summer. Summer's a good time to come to Madison. Much better than winter. Any chance of getting a discount room? Just thought I would ask. Give them a call. We used to have a code, and then they just stopped doing that. We like for 2 months, we had a discount code. So yes, there's a really good chance. Shoot them call the Sheraton. And Sheraton Hotel Madison, John Nolan Drive. Give them a call and say, I'm coming into town for the Madison Card Show. Are there any discounted rooms available? Hopefully they hook you up. Philly Joe is here. Good morning. Zach and Porter says, unicorn for wrench in 2025. Recap Klein. It's about darn time. These are winning catchphrases. Recall. Low Roller has to deal with an a-hole employee while checking free bonuses on skill games. There you go. A-holes. Unicorn Cupcake, thank you for your support, Zach and Porter. Wait, is it skill game or gambling? I'd like to attach a GoPro to Low Roller Scratcher as he's dealing with a-hole employees while trying to play skill games. JK Cards, good morning. Breaking Bad? Bo gonna start selling meth too? No. Where are we at? Zach says there is zero skill with slot machines, just like there is zero skill ripping a pack of cards. That is true. Breaking Bad, breaking boxes and packs of cards, much like playing skill games. Unicorn Cupcake says, do you think the skill game vendors pay taxes on the money they bring in? I don't want to assume. Checking free bonuses is my full-time job. LRS, you misspelled habit. It's an H-A-B-I-T, not the J-O-B. The skill is in avoiding playing them. That's the skill. Don't use AI around Keating. He gets nervous when I talk about it. Let's see. Where are we at? Zach says, good for him. Ignore him and find out. Who is training who? Merle says, what's up, Merle? New thumbnail for Merle. Does this title mean you won't be adding breaking to your workload in 2025? Now, will I still open boxes of cards? Absolutely. No, this is actually the title and topic for today was actually inspired by a tweet that I'll share here in a moment. But I will continue to, and I talked about this the other day in what my aspirations for 2025 will be. I'll still be breaking some boxes. I won't buy cases like I did last year. I spent quite a bit of money on cases last year to rip and flip. I will still do Top Series 1. That's easy money. I will not be doing Heritage. I will not be doing Big League. I will not be doing Allen and Ginter. And I probably won't do, I think Pro Debut came out. I might do Pro Debut. It came out during a time where I think I was just dealing with a bunch of bulk buys. So it's like, I have enough. I don't need Pro Debut. So Topps Archives comes out this coming week. I'll probably hit up Walmart, Target next Friday just to see if there's any blasters on the shelf. And depends on price. If they're $35, I'll probably buy one or two. If they're $25, I'll probably buy 4 or 5 blasters. But that's about it, and here randomly depends. But for the most part, no, I won't be breaking. And even with the wax that I broke in 2024, like I didn't really buy, for my business, I didn't buy that much. Yes, I spent a lot of money on wax, but from a percentage standpoint on what I bought and what I sold, it was a pretty small percent. JK Card says Breaking Bad House for sale at $4 million. Merle says his meth lab in the disclosure statements. It is against his rules to bid more than once. Oh, on Zach. Yeah. Yep. Bummer, dude. JK says, think about how much you can make if you turn it into an Airbnb. Good morning, Florida baseball card dude. John says, suck it up, Buttercup. Pay the full hotel rate. Boo. This coming from a guy who pays in points. Boo this man. Nackley Collectible says, LOL, great plan. Don't take a shower all week. Dollar boxes to themselves. Maybe it's a strategy. Hey, that's a pretty good point. If I smell really bad and go to a dollar box, it might push people away. Don't try that in Madison. Do that elsewhere. John says, a-hole employees pay taxes. Those roads don't pay themselves. Gambling is rooted in slot machines. Unicorn Cupcake says, once an old coot, always an old coot. Zach says, Mike Smith would disagree with you, LRS. That is not a job. I wish Mike was here because you guys have similar habits, but he seems to have a better grasp on his addiction. John says, I'm not confused. Is breaking the same as ripping wax? Now, breaking and ripping is the same. The terms are interchangeable in this chat. Yes, breaking and ripping are the exact same. Opening is also breaking. Opening packs, opening boxes, opening, breaking, ripping, slicing and dicing, those are all the same terms, mean the same thing, at least in my opinion. My uneducated self considers breaking when you are opening packs for someone else and ripping wax when you're doing it for your own dang self. I think it's the same. I'm going to break this. I'm going to break a box. I'm going to rip a box. I use them interchangeably. Merle says, but no chance of getting a card show during Bratfest. No Bratfest Madison card show this year. We'll aim for 2026. John says, I thought breaking was when you pay someone else to do it for you, kind of like cuckolding. John says, Zach and I are aligned. I think they're the same. I mean, you don't call them rippers. I think breaking, a breaker is doing it for somebody else, but I often use the term breaking for myself. Like, oh, I'm going to break a box of Top Series 1 or a case of Series 1. I'm going to rip it. I'm going to break it. I'm going to open it. I think they're all interchangeable. That dude from Duryea says, I agree that breaking is for someone else. Peeps is here. Good morning. I just ripped one. I don't think he's talking about a box, though. So the topic du jour came from this tweet. Where we at? Oh, ooh. Well, that's not the right one. There we go. Share that tab. So from Brookings Institution, Detroit Tank City. Bought a box of luminaries. They are expensive. Of course, most boxes are these days. This is what I got. Probably not worth 1/6 of the box cost. This is the problem with luminaries. No, it's not. Way too many of what I call archives level veterans in it. Sigh. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. A number to 10 auto of a Hall of Famer, Larry Walker. I'm sorry you spent too much money on a box of luminaries. That's your fault. That's a damn good autograph. A Hall of Famer number to 10. I'm sorry it's Larry Walker and you were expecting Shohei Ohtani or Mike Trout. That's what happens when you break. You're not entitled to a certain percentage of what the box price costs. That is why it's gambling. Even if I do it as part of my business, it's still a gamble. Now, there are smart decisions that you make. I'm not going to buy a box of luminaries or a case of luminaries as part of my business because that's just stupid. Some people may think, well, buying a case of Topps Series 1 is stupid, but I have historic numbers that I make money every single year. Maybe this year's not going to be my year. Maybe I lose money on a case of Series 1, but I also enjoy it. It's the first product of the year. It's pretty easy to make money on Topps Series 1. It's not going to be easy to make money on luminaries or tier 1 or triple threads or whatever the other high-end box prices are. I mean, imagine the entitlement. You pull a number to 10 auto of a Hall of Famer. This isn't good enough. I spent X amount of money on this box. I should get my money back. No! That's not how this works. Now, even back before there were hits, we're going all the way back. Let's go back to the 80s. We go back to the 80s, and I'm buying a pack of 89 Topps. You know what? There were packs of 89 Topps that didn't equal 50 cents. And I'm sure we cried and said, oh, this pack sucks. I didn't even get 50 cents worth of cards. Because you go to your Beckett. Even when I was 7 years old in 1989, I opened a pack of cards. I wanted to know how much money they were worth. It was a business to me in 1989 as a 7-year-old. I didn't know how to sell cards at that age, but I still wanted to go look up my 89 Topps Jose Canseco. Ooh, this card's 75 cents. You look up your pack of cards in your 1989 Beckett. This pack was $2.25. And then the next pack you opened was only 30 cents. You didn't even get your money back. And it happens today. Hits. Oh, all I got in this Allen and Ginter box was a guy I've never heard of. Well, the guy you've never heard of in Allen and Ginter is probably worth 10 times more than the Larry Walker auto that you're going to pull. That's what happens when you break. It's a fucking gamble. It's like LRS playing his skill games. They're not skill games. It's gambling. There's no skill in opening a box of luminaries. Just like there's no skill in hitting a button on a slot machine. It's gambling. And sometimes you lose. Most times you do. Now it's still fun. I enjoy opening a box now and then. Topps Archives comes out next week. I'm going to look for some blasters of Topps Archives. And I'm going to rip them. I'm going to keep the Cubs. I'm going to sell everything else. And I'll lose money. And I know that going in. But I enjoy it. And that's part of the hobby, where it's still a hobby to me. But I know going in what I'm expecting. If I pay $30 for a blaster box at Topps Archives, I know pretty damn well I'm not going to get $30 worth of cards in that box. But I'm going to have $30 worth of enjoyment opening those boxes. I wish more people would understand that cards and opening boxes is a gamble. And it always has been. Well, maybe not always. Maybe in 1953 it wasn't. But it certainly was in 1983 and definitely in 1993 and certainly in 2003. And absolutely it is right now, more than ever. Let's go to the chat. John says, let's remove that. John says, I'm not sure if you're breaking my balls right now or ripping my balls. Either way, I'm not comfortable. See, if you break balls or rip balls, you're going to be in pain. Means the same thing. Please read LRS's damn message. The problem with the hobby is the hobbyists. Topps, Panini, Leaf, Upper Deck, they're businesses. They're not here to cater to our hobby collection. They're there to make money. They print cards to make money and grow their bottom line. And that's okay. Topps using Mag Pros, it looks like. New breakers don't even know who Walker is. There was who, I'm sure it was in the Sports Card Nonsense Facebook group. There was and it was like it was a bigger name than Larry Walker. It was like, oh, it was Fergie Jenkins. Fergie Jenkins. And he got ripped to shreds in the comments. Like, he's a Hall of Famer. John says, Larry Walker autos are not coveted. Players like this video are the only thing that matters. Von Hayes matters. Leo's, Maxwell, Julium's RPA, Pro Debut microwave chrome sells. Hall of Famers don't sell. LOL Peeps and Mike Schmidt, the all-time leader for home runs, by a white guy. Zach says, there is a high likelihood that the person who ripped, not broke, ripped that pack didn't even use money. They have to do it all on credit, and that is why they're pissed as well. That could be. Shane says, 20 years ago, buyers complained about pulling Brooks Robinson and Lou Brock autos out of Legends products. Different era, same stupidity. Yeah. You go back, and one of my pastimes is reading old Beckett magazines from 1988, 90, 92. Hell, 1987, which predated like the big boom. It was still, the hobby was just kind of, it was bubbling from under before it really broke loose in 88, 89, and really boomed. But in 87, the Reader's Right had complaints about the high price and kids aren't able to afford packs of cards. Well, back when I was a kid in the 90s, you hear this, well, in the 90s, kids could afford packs. Well, they couldn't in 87. It's the same thing. Year after year after year. It's all relative. It's all relative. Now, in comparison, a 50-cent pack, and that's, I think a lot of people that complain about the price of cards, well, when I was a kid, I could afford packs of cards. And then they'll throw in the excuse of, well, you can't take your allowance and go buy packs of cards anymore because it's a $20 blaster box and now they're $35. It's like, well, you can't compare like that. Thought it was Michael Jack Schmidt. Dat dude from Duryea says that is part of the deeper dive in the hobby. All Hall of Famers are not the same. Not all commons are common. Not every memorabilia card is actually memorabilia. Topps made patches. Florida Baseball Card Dude says Luminaries is meant to add a nice hit to a break spread amongst 30 people. I'm sure the Rockies owner was thrilled with the Larry Walker auto. That guy learned a hard lesson as those boxes are $500. And here's another thing. And this is how I decide if I'm going to spend the money on a higher end box. Look at the goddamn checklist. There's a checklist. Maybe the Luminaries checklist isn't out and this guy just had to break. I had to rip. Look at the goddamn checklist. All right. And you get, I don't know how many cards come in maybe just one card comes in Luminaries box. And I bet there's worse autos than Larry Walker. Let's is it 2024 on the Luminaries box? Let's just find the Topps Luminaries checklist. All right. Let's share this screen. All right. So Hit Kings, Home Run Kings, Master of the Mound, Spark of Light. You get books. So you get one pack per hobby box. All right. You'll get one autograph per box. You could get a Blake Snell autograph relic. I'd rather have a Larry Walker than Blake Snell. You get cut signatures are going to be really good. What's the wasn't Hit Kings? What was it? Home Run Kings. So Hit Kings autograph relics. Adrian Beltre. I mean, he's probably in line with a Larry Walker. Matt Olson. I'd rather have Larry Walker than Matt Olson. I don't know. Maybe some people would prefer Matt Olson. Hit Kings autographs. Bernie Williams. I'd be pretty upset with a Bernie Williams auto. These are all big names. Jung-Hoo Lee, I don't know who that is. San Francisco Giants. I'd be pretty upset if I paid $500 for a box of luminaries and got Jung-Hoo Lee. But also I'm looking at the checklist. JT Real Muto, Marcus Semien, Matt Olson, Nomar. Like, there's like, you go look at this checklist. Yeah, there's a lot of big names, but look at the floor. What's my floor? I could get Jung-Hoo Lee. Home Run Kings. Was that, I think Larry Walker was in that. Hideki Matsui. At least Junior Caminero was a rookie card. There's our buddy Larry. Marco Luciano. Oof, that might be the worst. Jung-Hoo Lee was probably the worst. Marco, sorry, Giants fans. So look at the goddamn checklist. It's not all Ohtani, Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Mike Trout, Ronald Acuna. Like, there's Jung-Hoo Lee and Matt Olson and Larry Walker. John says, is it a surprise that the two adjectives being used, ripping and breaking, are descriptive of intestinal discomfort? Merle says, most annoying card show experiences, leaky roofs. In my opinion, yes, that is on the top of my list. John says, if you're worried about leaky roofs at a card show, then you should avoid the Nationals at all cost. Cooter says, Ruth wasn't white, John? Yeah. Orlando says, speaking of Beckett, I'll be on Hobby Hotline with Dr. Beckett in an hour. Orlando, check him out. Dr. Beckett and Orlando on Hobby Hotline coming up at 10 o'clock Central, 1 hour away. Cooter needs to watch this immediately. Peep says, it sometimes shocks me how few people look at the checklist before busting. Yeah, and then complain. And you're spending, it's not like it's a box of Top Series 1. It's not like you're, and those I guess are $100 now. So it's not like you're spending $100. You're spending $500 and you're getting one card. Like, at least with Top Series 1, you spend $100 on a hobby box and you get lots of cards. But you're spending $500 on one card. I am going to make damn sure I'm looking at the checklist. Now, you look at that checklist, the odds of getting a better than Larry Walker, like Larry Walker's probably in the bottom, looking at the checklist of those names, Larry Walker's probably in the bottom 10% of autographs you could get. But there's always a chance. It could have been worse. He could have got Matt Olson or Jung-Hoo Lee or Marco Luciano or Adrian Beltre for that matter. Or I don't know if they're all numbered. I mean, his auto, the Larry Walker that he pulled and complained about, was numbered to 10. John says, I'd rather have a complete 1968 Topps football set than a supposed 2024 hit relic rip break whammy slammy. Me too. 100%. Absolutely. I'm with you. John says, and I think most people in this chat probably are. Generally speaking, maybe not, but at least in our community. Wait, Peeps just introduced the term busting. Where the fuck is this on the hierarchy of the hobby roots? Busting? I think I've probably busted a few packs. John Mabie's in the house. I saw a 1-of-1 cut auto of Warren Spahn yesterday. Even hitting a 1-of-1 cut auto can lose you $400. Ooh, really? $100 on Illuminaries? Man, that sucks. Let's take a look. Okay, so if you had any inkling Remember, this product just yesterday was release day, by the way. Let's just do a little experiment here. Sold items 2024 Topps Luminaries. Remember, it's $500 for a box. Let's share this tab instead. You pull a Roger Clemens SP autograph jersey auto patch to 25, $280. Barely over half. I mean, after eBay fees, you're getting half your money back, less than half your money back. Hideki Matsui, $20. Paul Molitor, $85. Hey, you hit a George Brett, you'll still lose money because after fees, that sold for $500. You're losing money. Bert Blyleven, $60. Good God. What a bloodbath. You hit an Ohtani auto numbered to 5, which is one of the better hits you can get. $1,200. You, at best, nearly double your money, which is good. I mean, I'm not pissing on doubling your money, but like that's kind of the ceiling. Jose Altuve, autoed to 10. Inscribed, Crush City, $140. Buster Posey, numbered to 15 auto, $81. That's a digital card. Another Altuve, patch auto, $70. So out of let's just look at the first 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, there's 10. Altuve. One of the 10 would have made you money. The Ohtani to 5. You would have about doubled your money on that. If you paid $500 for the box after fees, you're making about $1,000 gross on that sale. So you're netting about 500. But all these others, even the George Brett 500 after fees, you're losing money on that one. So 10%. I'd say you're sucks to be you if you bought Topps Luminaries. No, it doesn't, because you made that decision. You made that choice. Unicorn Cupcake says, none of this is gambling. Never has been, never will be. The hobby is pure. Trust me. That's sarcasm. I sense sarcasm. That dude from Duryea says, every team has fans. How many times are you surprised when a card sells? Bum Luck Collector says, the Walker was also of 10. There are higher numbered cards in the product. Not a terrible card. No. I mean, you've got to hit like, look at what it took to make money. Even a George Brett, who's a much better Hall of Famer than Larry Walker, especially in the hobby, a numbered to 15 auto of George Brett sold for $500 on eBay, which is you're losing money. The Rockies are team and they don't have fans. They have a couple. There's like 2 or 3 fans of the Rockies. Peeps dwells at the bottom. Zach says, why have we not gone back up and read Low Roller Scratcher's comment? Are we not doing a show anymore? Do we not have rules around here? Peeps is one of my favorite people, says John. 70s. Who was cheering in those 2007 playoffs? I hated them, LOL. John says he's sometimes high on paint fumes, but the message always comes through. John says Marco Luciano affiliated with the Bonanno crime family, if I recall. Luciano. John, you were thinking of the Bosa family. Peep says, if you know what's good for you, buy Marco Luciano. John says, I disagree. Most in this chat would prefer a spectacular green Sharpie signed air fry kaboom over a fine vintage set. Let's take it to the chat. Question. I want you to comment here in the live chat. Would you rather have a 1968 Topps football set, or what was the other, or some shiny top of the line card? Say they're equal value. Both are valued at whatever, $500. Would you rather have the 68 Topps football set or a $500 kaboom? So just put set or kaboom in the chat, in the comments. And I bet, John Keating, I bet the vintage set wins out. John says the Bosa family is deeply connected. Scary shit right there. Kumaro. Zach would rather own a 1985 Fleer Eric Davis rookie card than anything you've mentioned so far. John says when a majority of the market is ripping, busting, breaking, sharding to get a big hit, then it may venture into skill game territory. Bargain Boxer says all cards go to zero. That being said, I'm a buyer. He's getting those steals and deals. John says, I'm guessing collector, of which there are few, are avoiding shit sandwiches like these. Zach just drove by the Oak Creek Card Show on my way home from the gym. People are walking in by the droves seeking Larry Walker autographs. Bargain Boxer asks about the car show. Zach says card show. I was thinking maybe they turned it into a car show. Kind of cold for a car show. Zach has more cars than he has problems. Zach says, wife bought a new car on New Year's Eve. I'm donating a car on Monday. Bargain Boxer says, kaboom suck. Here we go. We're getting into the... So I'm assuming Bargain Boxer is going to the set list. Let's start making check marks. All right, John. We're going to prove John Keating wrong. Set. Kaboom. $500. What are you taking? You have $500. Would you rather have a 1968 Topps football complete set or a nice shiny kaboom? Whatever's a $500 kaboom. It's your favorite player. It's $500. So Bargain Boxer says kaboom sucks, so I'm giving him the vote for set. Zach says she was their last sale of the day, 7 p.m. Second time she's done this. I just sit there and watch like someone breaking my cards. GNC, we got 2 votes for set. JK, easy on the set. Sugar Shane, he's going kaboom. Peeps, I knew Peeps would go set. Unicorn Cupcake, he's going, it's 5-1 right now. Philly Joe says a shiny kaboom, or as our friend says, kaboomies. Mike Petty says that. Johnny M says, good morning. That's the reason I stopped busting high end and stick to Allen and Ginter and Topps Series 1. John says kaboom, and he's just trying to, we're going to vote. We're going to give you the vote for kaboom, but we know where you really lie. So Bargain Boxer confirmed he's voting vintage. So we got his vote in. Donald Davis, he's going set. Merle says either the 68 set or the Superfractor. So we've got 7-3. Johnny M says whichever one will get me the most money. All things being, they're both $500. So in perpetuity. So neither is going to net you the most money unless you find a buyer for the kaboom at more money or the set at more money. So in perpetuity, it's $500. Assume it's $500 stagnant the entire lifetime. What are you going for? The set or the kaboom? John says it needs to be an anonymous ballot to be valid. Stop shaming people. Gundy says I'll let everyone else buy luminaries and then pick up the cards I want for pennies on the dollar. Gundy votes the 68 football set. So we're at 8-3. Larry Walker has fans from 2 teams that don't exist, the Rockies and the Expos. John says John Keating doesn't need your help to prove John Keating wrong. Jody, set 9-3. John says, if you have fans from 2 teams, then you have no fans. And Walker played for more than 2 franchises. Who else did Larry Walker? Did he play for the Cardinals for like a season? Who else did Larry Walker play for? I am drawing a blank. By the way, we're voting. Would you rather, for $500, all things being equal, would you rather have a complete 1968 Topps football set or a shiny kaboomy? Larry Walker played for the Expos, Rockies, and he played 2 seasons with the Cardinals, so I wasn't imagining things. Expos might have more fans than the Rockies. Zach wants the vintage 1989 football set. Peep says busting, gaining traction. It's a movement. Peeps is a pioneer of this busting movement. John already has the 68 set, so that's why he voted for the kaboom. Mr. Archer, we got another vote for set, and he doesn't even collect football. 10-3. Johnny M, he's going set. Remember, value doesn't matter. They're both $500, and that they're going to stay $500 in perpetuity. That's the word of the day, perpetuity. So it's 11-3. John says Johnny M is the only honest person here. True story. Sugar Shane says, I'm only 34, never cared for sets. Well, you know, a set is just a bunch of singles put together. So you get like, I don't even know how many cards is in the 68 football set. It's 68 and it's football. So I'd say probably 200, 300 cards. But it's 300 individual cards. It's not just a box. It's a whole set of cards. You can break them up if you want. That's an option. You can break them up into singles, but they're still only going to equal $500. So if you're, there you go. L1C says he wants 100 1988 Donruss sets. I might be able to help you with that. That dude from Duryea, Kaboom, no regrets. Kaboom making a run. John says, poll your audience as to whether 1968 is pre-war. Well, it is pre-war. It just depends on which war. Peep says, it is a nice set in case no one looked at the checklist. Nick is going Kaboom. He's going to sell it in 10 minutes. All right, it's 11-5. Kaboom's making a run. Wouldn't be able to move the set quickly. That's a good point, Nick. Oh, a little alternative thinking right there. Mr. Archer says, who's the player on this hypothetical Kaboom? Anybody you want. Any Kaboomy you want, but it's only $500. It can be Patrick Mahomes or it can be Larry Walker, but it's $500. And that's the value. And it's not changing. It's always going to be $500. So it's not a value question. Bargain Boxer says 1968 is pre-war Vietnam and pre-Desert Storm and pre-other wars throughout the world since 1968. John says Nick also earned his honesty merit badge. Zach says, my answer was honest. I used AI to write it, but was honest. So, all right, final results. 11 commenters would prefer the 1968 Topps football set. 5, including John Keating, and who we know is lying when he says Kaboom. 5 Kabooms. 11-5, and we're putting a little asterisk. Putting a little asterisk next to Kabooms because, John, we know you don't want a Kaboom. Pre-Falklands is the benchmark as usual. Kaboom on player IPC. Okay, Knackley, 11-6. So that's what I had for today. What else is going on? So that's it. That's what we had for today. Hey, coming up in less than an hour, 45 minutes away now. Check out Orlando over on Hobby Hotline with Dr. Beckett. Coming up at 10 a.m. Central Time. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Make sure to hit up my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more at regular price. In the Buy It Now section, you'll save 25% off at checkout. That's any item. Doesn't just have to be a single card. It can be a lot. It can be a Beckett that I put up this week. It could be a T-shirt. Anything in my eBay store, buy 7 or more, and you'll save 25% off at checkout. I've got almost 500 auctions, I think, running live right now. So check out the auctions. Auctions do not apply. Discounts does not apply for the auctions. You're going to get steals and deals anyway because auctions suck, remember? But you can bid on my auctions. Bid on my sucky auctions at 99centcards.com. Before we go, last couple comments. Peeps has got to split. There's pancakes to be made. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. John says a 1968 Bob Greasy just sold for $8,500, but in perpetuity, a 1968 Topps set for $500. Vietnam never declared a war by the United States, officially only a conflict. A little history lesson from Gundy. The U.S. entered the Vietnam War in the 50s, says GNC Cards. Okay, so it's not a war for Gundy, and it's pre-68 is post-Vietnam for GNC. All righty. So that's what I had for today. Like and subscribe. Have a great weekend. We will do this again tomorrow morning, probably similar-ish time, 8 o'clock Central. Have a wonderful Saturday. If you're in Oak Creek, have a great card show. Buy some good stuff. Share it with us tomorrow in the comments tomorrow morning. Have a great day. We'll see you in the morning.